Well, hello, my name is Brody, and this. Well, hello, my name is Bob, and. Well, hello, my name is Brody. Some of you might know me as _Bob.
Well, hello, it's Bob.
What's up? It's Bob.
Hello, my name is Bob.
Alright.
Well, hello, my name is Brody, also known as Bob. Well, hello, my name is Brody, and today we're gonna be playing a game I made.
Hello everyone, I'm Puppetual and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today's video is something that I've never really done before, but it's something that I've thought of doing for a while, which is taking really creative and interesting Minecraft maps and media and breaking them down into review format, giving you my honest opinion. Let the show begin. Today I'll be taking a look at a map called Defend Helm Deep, created by Bob, a map 9 years in the making, started back in 2012, and still receiving consistent bug fixes and updates. That's dedication. The name Bob might ring a bell if you've been following my channel. I've actually participated in play in a lot of his events. I'd like to consider him a friend of mine. Hey Bob, it's Pup, the guy doing the DHD review video thing that I said. I said in the video we were friends, and I just wanted to make sure that we're friends, because I didn't want to lie to people, so like, we're friends, right?
I don't know, man. I don't think I've met you before. Who is this? I don't know who you are. Can you just leave me alone?
Originally, I was going to do a simple review on this game. However, I quickly realized that there's so much important backstory and history involved with the making of this game that it wouldn't be fair for me to judge it just on how it is now. So while I'll be looking at this game critically, I'll also be explaining some of my first impressions looking back at the long history it took to get here. Defend Helm Deep follows the story narrative from the reputable The Lord of the Rings, the final battle of Hornburg. Now, before I get torn to shreds for probably getting a lot of these names incorrect, I have to say I was never really into the Lord of the Rings series, but I'll do my best to thoroughly research the source material. I'm going to refer to the game's abbreviation through this video because it's much easier. DHD is a tower defense type game, guarding certain areas of the maps to keep enemies from getting in. A simplistic yet very well executed take on the traditional style of tower defense games. Originally, the game was a PvP based siege game.
Sound your horns! Let us draw sword together! Arise, riders of Rohan! Arise and fear no darkness! For now, we ride to war!
I'm going to break this review down into 3 separate categories: gameplay, visual, and overall performance and details, as well as present some suggestions and opinions in the mix. With that all being said, let's take a look at gameplay.
Where there's a game, there's a meta we all follow.
DHD is one of those games that has a pretty solid suggestion of how to first start off the game. Players can choose between 2 classes, ranged or melee. This is dictated by what weapon a player has in their inventory. Starting off, it's suggested that all players play ranged for the first few waves of the game, keeping enemies away from the gate and the wall for as long as possible. More on this later. The waves are very interesting. Wave difficulty is influenced by 4 factors: number of players, wave number, max alive orc count, and starting gold. These are all things that influence the game and its difficulty. It's a complicated thing to explain, so I'm not going to. Instead, I'll leave a link in the description to a video Bob made that goes into depth about this difficulty system. There are 15 waves, originally 30. 30? Really? Who has time for that? Anyways, now 15. Each wave gets increasingly more difficult as the players play through the game. This is where my first few pieces of critical analysis start to come into play. The first few waves can be very slow and almost uninteresting, especially for players defending the wall. It's the same shoot a bow, kill enemies type deal. The deeping wall is probably one of the elements of this game that feels lacking to me in a way. There's really no sense of danger when defending the wall, other than enemies trying to build ladders, the torch runner, and the random event of arrows that fire at players. While the main gate is presented with different mini-bosses that keep it interesting and high stakes.
Front gate's about to go? Oh no!
Oh my god, and a Ravager?
Everything's happening. I couldn't make it to the front gate, I got blocked.
Okay. It is runtime.
The wall played a major role in the battle, looking back at the source material almost being flooded by enemies immediately. Reading through some of the forums and discussion about the movie's interpretation, it seems that the importance of the deepening wall was lost when translating into film, which then looking at how DHD interprets it makes it feel like it's almost extremely lacking as well. The deepening wall was meant to guard the cave's entrances according to the book, which in both the movie adaptation as well as the DHD seems to be missing that sense of importance. I'd suggest making the wall feel more threatening, either by adding more risk of guarding it or increasing the rate at which ladders are built. Something I think that could be interesting is custom orcs that can scale the side of the wall, using something similar to a medieval-style siege grappling hook. This would add a level of gameplay that is more interesting and threatening, while also adding back in the importance of guarding the wall. Moving on ahead a further bit into DHD, mid-game is where all the action is starting to take place. The wall is becoming more hectic and the gate is starting to lose ground. This is where I think the game is done really well. It creates a sense of panic and paranoia as we wait for either the gate or the wall to fall first. Mid-game is where most players begin to transition to melee, which seems to be the meta. The shop becomes more useful as players can use it to purchase armor, weapons, and various traps, special items, and even gamble. That's right, gambling is in this game. If you asked me if I like the slot machine, I'd say no, and burn the whole place down. The loot table of the slot machine is really bad and it's almost never worth it. However, on the rare instance it doesn't steal your money, the payout can be quite rewarding. Personally, I don't use it, but it seems to be a fan favorite nonetheless. The shop pricing is something that I think is done well. At the rate of which gold is given out, it's not too expensive, but it isn't too easy to purchase strong items either. A lot of the items and their mechanics are well done, nothing feels overpowered. The recent addition of Mithril dust is a nice touch. It allows players to upgrade any items they've already purchased, however the upgrades aren't too extreme, keeping it pretty nice to have, but not essential to the game. Touching back on the subject of the two classes, ranged and melee, and boy do I have some thoughts and opinions. When a player is considered melee, they receive a resistance and strength 2 buff, while also being able to use a special attack called Shield Bash, sending enemy orcs flying back, while a player that would be considered ranged receives a speed 1 buff and a support charm that you have to purchase in the store for 140 Gs and some occasional arrows. This is where my opinion bias really comes in as a ranged player myself. Being a ranged player is good for the first few waves, but once orcs break in, ranged players are running around for their lives bow spamming. This is where I believe something really interesting could be implemented for the ranged class that makes it more enjoyable to be a ranged player, like perhaps their own special ability. Something like being able to charge up a bow and release a barrage of multiple arrows would be something interesting, especially with how quickly a player can be overrun by orcs. The terrain is also just not ideal to be a ranged player. Everywhere you go there's danger, which is fine, but with the way the ranged class is now, I wouldn't be surprised if everyone wants to be melee and you have no ranged players left towards the end of the game. Moving on to talk about some of the enemies of the game, there's a lot of things that were done really well here. Since most of the creatures and monsters are based off The Lord of the Rings, there's a variety of fun and interesting creatures along with some unique ones. There's a part of me that wishes there were some special events separate from waves that focused on these bosses. Maybe an optional challenge where players can vote on taking a slightly more challenging mini-boss to skip a wave, something to keep it fun and interesting. Another feature that I think was done well are the catapults that send hordes of enemies into the keep. This keeps the game unpredictable. It's especially funny when a player is crushed by these giant rocks. I mean,
What just killed me? I got hit by a rock?
Yeah, you got hit by a rock. Yep, you got hit by the catapult.
The mob spawning and pathing are things that I find interesting as a person who makes mini games for shits and giggles. The way it's done in DHD is smart and effective, never taking a player out of the immersion. Well, except for when you see some of the orcs teleport through the walls, but we can't all win, right? For this game being done completely in vanilla Minecraft, it's amazing. Looking back through the earliest versions of DHD, you can really tell that Bob has learned and matured in his method of production. His mechanics and overall use of commands feel pristine and well polished, making it much easier and faster for him to produce updates. Earlier versions of DHD are rough and unclear, so he's come a long way. Visuals are something that can really make or break a game, but I think DHD has really found an aesthetic and has stuck with it in most cases. The use of high-resolution textures are really fitting for the dirty and grungy feel of the map. The items and mob textures also look really nice for it only being Minecraft. The use of custom models is some of the best work I've seen, utilizing models in a way that only enhances the look of mobs and weapons. One of my favorite things to come out of this is the look of the Ravengers and the cage-like structures built around them. It feels reminiscent of how bears and other dangerous animals are caged and restrained in circuses. It creates this sense of danger when I look at the Ravenger. I love all these models, except for one. This just might be my personal preference, however, the look of the slow trap is something I despise. It's just a pressure plate with some green on it. The original texture for this item was something I honestly preferred a lot more. This just feels lazy and something that was done as a second thought. If I were to revisit this item, I would do something similar to a spiderweb or even a bear trap with the gunk on it. Anything but the square. It's also just looks too high-tech for the environment and was something that always felt out of place. The same could be said for the fire trap, however that I don't mind as much. Moving on to the general build, I like it. It's done well and it feels accurate to the movie depiction. I played this map before I saw the actual building and went, oh shit, it looks like the same, which is a really awesome thing to experience. There's one part of the map, however, that I think could benefit from some renovation. The shop, it just feels cartoony. The overall look of it is alright, but it doesn't feel like it's supposed to be there. If the room was reworked and had higher ceilings with arches and some more space, it would fit right in. Another model that looks derpy, but I honestly love, is the giant rock that is launched into the keep. It looks like a giant meatball, but I love him. Sound design was done really well. Nothing feels out of place and the audio is naturally well balanced not to burst your eardrums. The use of audio to give cues to certain events is something that I've always appreciated. Some of the item sounds are really good as well. Bob really knocked it out of the park with the visuals and sound design. The overall performance of this game is great. Everything runs well and smoothly works together. Nothing feels too clunky, and if anything does, you can tell it's meant to be. There's small details sprinkled throughout the map that you can find for yourself. This game is simplistic in nature, but done right. However, if there was one thing I could say, the game isn't really first-timer friendly. You'll most likely have a hard time until you figure out how you need to play. This game also isn't that fun to play by yourself, it's definitely more entertaining with friends. If you have no one to play with, then feel free to join Bob's Discord. He does plenty of games and other tests, and I'm sure you'll find people you can vibe with. I'm also on there, so stop by and say hi. I'll leave a join link somewhere in the description. I actually have a surprise interview for you all. Bob agreed to do one for the video, so I'm going to ask him some of the most interesting questions in my opinion.
Okay, let's go. We go outside. There's a turkey in my room.
That's definitely going in the video now.
Are you wait, you're recording already?
Yeah. This is like, I feel like this is the first time I've actually like sat down and talked to you, other than you being like a background voice in my videos.
In one of your videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually we're like trying to do the objective.
And it's
chaotic.
yeah, it's never like you're a person that's here.
No.
Yeah.
I'm far more than
Right. More than a
I'm
voice. Yes. Well, this is Bob, everyone.
I'm Bob, everyone.
Yes. Insert noises here. Okay. So I got 4 questions for you today.
Okay.
4 of which that I think are like kind of like important, but like they'll also get like a good vibe of like, you know, the general person you are and stuff like that.
All right.
So just, I'm going to ask you these and then just answer the best you can. Some of them might be a little weird. I don't know. I hope the phrasing's okay.
You're gonna offend me.
Yeah, I'm gonna offend you somehow. Okay, so here's the first question.
Mm-hmm.
How has your mindset changed from 2012 to the present day?
Wow. Okay. I was going into this thinking it was all about Helm's Deep, but I guess it's about me.
Yes, it's about you.
Okay. A lot. Like honestly, way more than I can comprehend. Because in 2012 I was 16. and that was 10 years ago.
Dang.
Yeah. So, yeah, honestly, it's way more than I can comprehend. I think I made a video talking about it, and I'm like, in that video, I'm just like, I've changed a lot, and I think I'm, in the end, probably just better at handling my emotions.
That's good.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm not like a raging teenager anymore.
Okay, second question. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. What part of your journey in the development of like Defense Helm's Deep felt the most important to you, and how has the game progressed from then on?
Development. Honestly, learning how to use data packs was the biggest thing, but to like make it better. But the most important, honestly, the most important part was able to get as many tests as I could. Like in my Discord, we've probably tested maybe 300 times. Could be more, could be less. And yeah, that was probably the most valuable thing, that people had interest in the map. But from a technical thing, data packs definitely, learning how to make them and stuff. And
Gotcha.
literally through every single test, I learned something new, and balancing, and people's opinions sometimes got in there, but sometimes I'm like, no, shut up, your opinion's stupid. The opinion's not stupid. The idea of what they came up with could have been ridiculous. No,
Well, I hope this video isn't ridiculous for you.
no, it'll be fine. Yeah, I think it all just comes back to testing and feedback and
Mhm.
all the different variations it has been through.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
Third question.
Was that answer good enough?
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Okay,
Good
okay.
answer. Good answer. Okay. Number 3. So, if you could offer any advice to a new, like a new and small map maker, what would it be?
I would say use generators, but at the same time, when the generator, like a generator would be, like a Telraw generator to send Telraw messages, or MC stacker. Look at the output and kind of get to know it, but and also definitely learn data packs. Data packs is huge for optimization and just for being able to do things. And it's not as scary as I thought it was, because I was very like, Helm's Deep used to only be command blocks, and once I moved to data packs, it's so much easier. Like, if you make a mistake with command blocks, you have to like rearrange them all and break them, but with the data pack, you just copy and paste a command and move it around. It's so much simpler, and the only part of it that I was scared of was the fact that it wasn't in Minecraft, and it kind of had file format that I didn't understand. And I don't consider myself a coder, of like a JSON coder or anything. Like, I can't make a game, but yeah, it's just Minecraft commands in data packs, and it's not that scary. So generators and data packs, definitely a good way to go.
Okay. And then fourth question. Will you be starting any projects as big as Defend Helm's Deep, or will this be your final large project?
I may. Nothing is going to be as big as Helm's Deep. Like, last year on my birthday, my mom literally got me a cake of Helm's Deep on it. so nothing is going to be as intense as Helm's Deep ever again. But if I make another game, or mini game of whatever sort, I'm probably going to turn Canon Lords into a functional updated version of what it is now. And I also
Gotcha.
might make a capture the flag and submit it to Minecraft Realms just so I can get the cape.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's about it. Maybe some data packs here and there. I had an idea for. I wrote it down. A AFK data pack, simple, and so like little things like that. And I had a. What else did I say? I had. Oh, I wanted to make the Wandering Trader more useful.
That might
And
be
I
nice.
Yeah, I want like maybe he sells you a gold. If you don't have gold and you really want gold, maybe you can sell him 2 or 3 iron for a gold and vice versa type of thing, like an equivalent exchange of a market, kind of like Age of Empires. But I don't know if that's possible
Mm-hmm.
To like replace him with the llamas or whatever. But yeah, mainly just that map and data packs here and there.
Gotcha. And then last question: is there anything you'd like to let the audience know?
There's always so much pressure with those kind of questions. And my answers are kind of long too. Join my Discord. Play with us. It's a good time. I promise I won't yell at you. Yeah. I don't think I'd yell at Pop's audience. I call people out for being dumb sometimes, but all in all, we have a good time here, and we're just trying to build a nice little community. And yeah,
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Great stuff, man. Well,
and subscribe to Puppetual.
Oh, definitely do that. And check out Bob's channel. All 3 of them? Is there 3? 2?
No, just the main one.
Just the main one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting me interview you. This is very interesting for my channel as well.
Cool. Who are you again? No, I'm kidding.
Who are you? All right. Well, thank you for being here.
You betcha, boss.